I moved into a cheap apartment. Now I know why the rent was so low. Part 1: The Arrival. I don't even know if I should be posting this, but I need to get it out. Maybe someone here can tell me I'm not going insane. A little over a month ago, I moved into a new apartment. It wasn't my first choice, hell. It wasn't even on my list until the very last second, but rent is brutal these days and I was desperate. The ad made it seem like a steal. 1 bedroom, half the price of anything else in the city, utilities included, no background check, no security deposit. It almost felt like a scam, except when I called, the landlord answered right away and told me to come view it. The building was old, a gray 6-story brick thing that looked like it hadn't been touched since the 60s. Still, it didn't look condemned, just worn down. Inside, the hallway smelled faintly like bleach, but also something metallic underneath. The fluorescent lights flickered overhead, buzzing like a swarm of flies. The landlord, a guy in his late 50s with a too-wide smile, handed me the keys before I even filled out paperwork. "You'll find it's quiet here," he said. "Everyone keeps to themselves. That's why rent is so low, no amenities, no frills, just privacy." He said privacy, like it was supposed to be a selling point, but something in his tone made it sound like a warning. Still, I moved in that same week. At first, it wasn't so bad. The apartment was small but clean enough. The walls were freshly painted, the carpet a little stained, but nothing I couldn't live with. There were multiple locks on the front door, 4 deadbolts plus a chain. I thought, well, at least it's secure. Then I noticed the weird stuff. The first night, as I carried boxes up the stairs, I saw a face watching me from a window on the 3rd floor. A woman, maybe in her 30s, just staring blankly down at me. When I waved, she ducked out of sight. Later, I passed a man in the hallway who didn't say a word. He just stood pressed flat against the wall, staring at the ground, waiting for me to walk by like he couldn't bear to touch me. And then there was the old woman. My second night, I was fiddling with my keys at the entrance when she shuffled up beside me. She had wiry gray hair and carried a grocery bag full of canned goods. She leaned close, her breath sour, and whispered, "Keep the blinds shut at night." That was all she said before she disappeared up the stairs. At first, I laughed it off. Creepy old lady advice, right? But when I went upstairs, I noticed that every single window in the building had the blinds drawn tight. Not a sliver of light showed through. I thought maybe it was a weird rule or HOA thing. But when I asked the landlord, he just smiled too widely again and said, "It's better that way." The noises started a week later. I was lying in bed around 2 a.m. when I heard scratching. At first I thought it was a rat in the walls, but then I realized it wasn't random. It came in bursts, like 3 quick scrapes, pause, then 2 more, like a pattern. I sat up, listening hard. The sound wasn't coming from above or below, it was inside my apartment walls. I banged the wall with my fist. The scratching stopped. But then faintly, I swear I heard whispering, just on the edge of hearing, like someone muttering right behind the plaster. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Over the next few days, I tried to get to know the neighbors. Maybe someone else had heard it, maybe it was just pipes or animals. But nobody wanted to talk. The guy across the hall opened his door 2 inches when I knocked. I barely got a glimpse inside, total darkness. No lights on before he muttered, "I don't talk to new tenants," and slammed the door. The woman upstairs never answered, though I could hear movement in her unit at all hours of the night. Heavy thuds, sometimes dragging sounds. The old lady avoided me too. Whenever I spotted her, she'd shuffle the other way down the hall. It was like I wasn't supposed to be there, like I'd broken some unspoken rule just by moving in. Then I found the locks. I was cleaning one afternoon and noticed the bedroom door frame looked off, like the wood had been replaced. When I looked closer, I realized there were heavy steel latches, but on the outside of the door. Like someone had once needed to lock the bedroom shut. I checked the other doors. Same thing. Closet, bathroom, even the pantry. Every single interior door in the apartment had been modified so they could be locked from the hallway side. I sat there staring at them for a long time, my stomach sinking. Why would anyone need to do that? 2 nights later, I woke up to the sound of footsteps in my apartment. I froze. The footsteps were slow, deliberate, moving across the living room. My heart slammed against my ribs as I reached for my phone, no weapon, no bat, nothing else within reach. I dialed 911, but before I could press call, the sound stopped. I crept out of the bedroom, every nerve on fire. The living room was empty. The door was still locked, all 4 deadbolts secure. But the blinds were open. I know I shut them before bed. I remember doing it. Now they hung halfway open, the city lights bleeding in. And across the street in a darkened window, someone was standing, watching me. I didn't sleep after that. The next morning, I asked the landlord point blank if the apartment had a break-in history, or if someone had a copy of the keys. He chuckled like I'd told a joke. Nothing like that, no crime here. People mind their business, that's why rent is cheap. I wanted to push, but the way he looked at me made my throat close, like he was daring me to say more. Last night was the worst. I was dozing on the couch when I heard it again, scratching in the walls. Only this time it was louder, more frantic, like nails raking across drywall. I grabbed a flashlight and pressed my ear to the wall. And I heard it clear as day. A voice, low, hoarse, right behind the plaster. "Help me." I stumbled back so hard I dropped the flashlight. The beam rolled across the floor, landing on the pantry door. The door was shaking. Not much, just a faint vibration like someone was pressing against it from the other side. The latch on the outside rattled softly. I don't know how long I stood there, frozen, watching that door tremble in the half-light. Eventually it stopped, silence returned. But when I finally worked up the nerve to open it, the pantry was empty. Just bare shelves and a concrete wall. I don't know what the hell is going on in this building. But I've started to notice something. Every night when I'm lying in bed, I hear my neighbors moving around. Doors unlocking, feet shuffling, whispers in the hallway. And then right around 3 a.m., it all goes silent. Like they're all waiting. Listening. For something. I'll update if anything else happens. But for now, I'm keeping every light on and every door locked. And I'm starting to think the old woman was right. Keep the blinds shut at night. Part 2, The Descent. I don't know why I'm still here. I should have packed up and left the second I saw those latches on the doors. But rent is cheap. My savings are almost gone, and part of me keeps convincing myself I'm just imagining things. That was before last week. Now I know I'm not imagining it. Something is wrong with this building. Something all the tenants know about but won't talk about. And I think they've started watching me. It began with the garbage chute. One night, around 11 p.m., I was taking out the trash. The chute is at the end of the hall, heavy metal door, handle stiff with rust. I yanked it open and tossed the bag in. But instead of the usual hollow clunk of it falling, I heard movement. Like someone scrambling upward. Clanging footsteps on the steel walls, echoing up the shaft. I froze, gripping the handle. The sound was faint but steady, climbing floor by floor. And then just as I leaned closer, a hand shot out. Gray, bony fingers curled around the lip of the chute door, nails chipped and blackened. I slammed it shut so hard my teeth rattled. My whole body was shaking, the image of those fingers seared into my brain. When I dared to open it again, nothing was there. Just empty darkness. The next morning, I told the landlord. "You're hearing things," he said flatly, not even looking up from his clipboard. "No, I saw." He cut me off with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I told you before, Everyone minds their business here. That includes noises. Best not to go snooping. It wasn't advice, it was a warning. After that, the neighbors got weirder. The guy across the hall no longer just ignored me, he watched. I'd catch him peeking through the crack of his door when I left for work, or standing silently at the end of the hall when I came home. The old woman stopped going out altogether. I only knew she was alive because I heard her shuffling around late at night, humming tunelessly. And the woman upstairs. I don't know how to explain it. Some nights I hear her crying. Not soft crying, full, body-racking sobs that last for hours. But when I knocked on her door to ask if she was okay, she opened it just a crack and whispered, "You shouldn't be here." Then she shut it, and I heard the locks click one by one, like she was sealing herself away. I tried digging online. The building's address turns up nothing. No rental listing, no reviews, not even on Google Maps. It just shows up as a gray block with no label. But then I found a local subreddit post from 3 years ago. Just a single thread. Anyone know what happened at the building on 16th Street? Most of the comments were deleted, but one reply was still visible. Don't ask, people go missing there. That was it. After that, I started looking for signs. And I found them. Flyers on nearby lampposts, missing persons, M.